Welcome back to Financial Freedom for the Average Person, the course. And today we're getting into chapter 2, and we'll do kind of an overview of the chapter, and then we'll get into the exercises at another time. But on this chapter, now, first chapter, we looked at goals and kind of that planning put in there. This one, we're going to get into more financial strategy. So, how are you going to go forward and having a target? So again, now I've said this before, said it before, you'll hear this often during this. People don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. And planning your financial future is every bit as important as planning uh, you know, your your education, what you're doing for your vacations for the year and everything. Um, it isn't difficult, but does take time, does take some discipline. We're going to talk some on this one about the rule of 72, very powerful. And we're going to talk about setting up a fundamental financial plan. And that'll be exercise 4. And then we'll get into retirement planning, be exercise 5. You spent a lot of time retirement planning. Retirement comes quicker than you think. Okay, first, rule of 72. Okay, 72, if you take the number 72 and divide it by the interest rate, multiply it by 100, it tells you how long it takes your money to double or your debt to double. So for example, if the interest rate is 12%, your money will double in 6 years. And you can see the calculation there. If, however, and I'm going to go even further, right now, credit card debt, credit cards are paying close or charging close to 24%. So if you took 72 divided by 24, you would find out that your debt would double in just 3 years. And you need to avoid debt. And we'll be talking a lot about knowing where your debt is and getting out of debt. That's one of the first things. And you can see right now the interest rate on the high interest rates between 3.5% and 4%. At 4%, your money's going to be doubling in 18 years. That's a long time, so you need to do better than that. And I think the best target, and the target I used, was striving to get 12% on your money. Difficult, but doable. So financial planning, and what we're going to get into in one of the exercises, goes back to when I was in grad school. And I focused on how to make $1 million in 30 years. And the concept is it requires not a lot of money, 1,000 a quarter, $334 a month if you can get the 12%. And then the idea is, you start out with a plan. Can you put away $334 a month? And then how can you get 12%? Now, if you don't get 12%, at the end of the year, you take a look at it. How far short did you fall? Does it become a 31-year plan? Or can you increase the amount that you're putting away to $360 now? What I found as time went on, I was able to invest a lot more money than I anticipated. And in some years, I got more than 12%. Most years I didn't. But irregardless, once I started putting more money back, it didn't matter. It just built up and got me there. And I'll show you how this lays out, and you'll see that in one of the exercises coming up. Aside, is it doable? You have to have a plan. It does take delayed gratification. I didn't buy a lot of new cars. Now I do, but back in the day, I found ways to skimp on that. Nowadays, do you have to have that new iPhone, or can you live with a Samsung phone that's maybe a couple of years old? Can you keep your phone another year? Things like that. And we'll get into some techniques and things to free up some money. And one of the criticisms is this does require discipline. This doesn't happen immediately. But if you follow it, you'll get freedom. And there's a lot to say about being able to not worry about debt and being able to go forward and live your life well.